Today's YouTube video is going to be a tutorial on how to make these darling flower bracelets. They are so cute. I've made a bunch. Okay, today we are learning how to make flowers out of seed beads. It looks super complicated, but guess what? It's actually super easy. And I'm gonna show you step by step how to do it. Before I start any YouTube video, I try to anticipate any questions that you guys are gonna have for me. I always miss some, so if you do have a question, go ahead and leave them down below. But I knew that you guys would ask about the different petal sizes or how many beads to use for a petal. So I went ahead and experimented. The normal amount that I've seen used is 7. But I made some with 5, with 6, with 7, with 8 beads. So I'm gonna show you them and then you can decide which one that you wanna play around with, like what size you wanna make. So this guy is my 5. I used 5 beads to make the flower. And I actually really like it. It looks more like a 70s flower than like a daisy. I mean, it looks like a daisy, but it looks more like a psychedelic flower. The middles pop up a little bit more. You can see that, but I actually really like the results. I thought that one turned out really cute. This guy is the 6, and I'm gonna say the 6 is probably my least favorite. I just feel like there's always a gap missing where a bead should be. Like it looks like, let's see, like there needs to be a bead there, or a bead there, or a bead there. I mean, from a distance, it still looks great. Let's be honest, it's still adorable, but 6 was my least favorite. 7's the one that I've been working with the most, so that's a 7. We've got 4 on one side and 3 on one side. I just feel like it balances it out a little bit better. So that's the 7. And then I did do an 8, but I kind of cheated a little bit because I put a little bit bigger bead in the middle. The bead in the middle is not the same size as the bead around the petals, but this is my sunflower and I love it. I love how it makes a total round circle. So if you're going to use more beads around, then you want to make sure that that bead in the middle is a little bit bigger so you have room for it to go around. I think if I would have not used a bigger bead and used the same side bead, there would be just too much. It'd be too much. There'd be too many beads. So if you're going to go bigger than 7, pop a bigger bead in there. Or if you have a bigger bead, like if you have a specific color you want to put in the middle, it's a little bit bigger, then add more petals / beads. So those are the options of beads or of petal sizes. And then I wanted to show you the differences between putting things in between the flowers. So this one only has 4 sunflowers on it. I've just made a pattern. I think that one looks darling. This one has nothing in between. I just went from color to color to color, daisy to daisy to daisy. This one has a little bit more of a pattern. I was trying to do the green like a leaf, and notice the flowers. I say keep calling them daisy because that's what I've always called them, but think outside of the box. You can do any color you want. It doesn't have to be white. So that one has a nice pattern on it with green to try to add leaves. This one has 2 beads in between. I also only beaded like the front part and didn't bead the back part. So if you have a limited amount or if you're really sick of making flowers, you can do that. This one doesn't have seed beads in the middle. It has more decorative beads that I had. So you don't have to use seed beads for this part. This one only has 1 seed bead in the middle. And then this guy has 3 seed beads in the middle. So they're all gonna look different. It's one of those projects that you could do with your friends and all use the same color beads and everyone's are gonna look different because of the spacing and how many petals you have and the patterns. So it's a really fun way just to like be creative with limited supplies. And now let's talk supplies. There's a couple really key things the elastic size and the bead size, when you're making the daisy bracelet, it has to double back and go through the hole of the seed bead. It goes in once and then doubles back and has to go back through. So you want to make sure that your elastic is thin enough and your bead hole is big enough. That's the important part. I grabbed this guy and this one was just a little too big to run through. I could get it through on some of the holes. So here's the size. That one was a little too big. So this is the one that I found. It was the smallest one that Hobby Lobby had. Let's see. I'm going to link everything down below in the description because I feel like that is the trickiest part. It's just making sure you have the right size of stuff. So 0.5 mm is the size that I have from Hobby Lobby. Also, all my beads are from Hobby Lobby. They're great priced, $4 for all of this, and they have 40% off. So catch them on a sale and then just stock up on all your colors. Okay, let's talk bead size. I have a couple different sizes. These in the smaller tube are a little bit smaller. The holes are the same size, but the beads are these beads are a little bit bigger than these beads. And then I got these beads, which are a bigger size hole and a bigger bead. If you can tell, I have a glare from my window. The sizes of these are these 3 and this guy, well, most of all of my colors are 8. Right here is the size. An 8, and then these are a 6. So a little bit bigger, but the hole's bigger and the bead is bigger. So we have no problems running them through. Anything smaller than a 6 is gonna get, you can use it for the spacers in between the flowers, but not the flowers. And you don't have to use seed beads for everything. I grabbed these round beads. I'm gonna try to use for the middles. I mean, there's a ton of bead options. So play around, have fun. I just like when we go camping, I always try to do a craft. And so I just try to get all the basic colors so it's not overwhelming. And this, I feel like the seed beads are great priced. So elastic, beads, and then this guy is not a must, but I love it. It makes life a little bit easier. These are beading needles. You don't have to have them, and like when we do this with my nieces and nephews, I won't pull these out, but these are needles that are bendy. Let me pull one out. And it just makes it a little bit easier to run the elastic back through the hole. So if I can get it open, it has a big hole in the middle. Actually, maybe it's easier to see on the back since they're so thin. It has a hole in the middle, so it's really easy to thread. I got it at Hobby Lobby. This is not sponsored by Hobby Lobby. It's the craft store we have in my town. You can find these anywhere. I'll probably link to the ones on Amazon just because that's pretty universal. But if you can see, this opens up to run your elastic through, and then it just makes, it's pointy, same amount of point on both sides, just run it through, and it's bendy. And then you're gonna need scissors. You're gonna need E6000. This is the glue. When you're done and you tie it in a knot, you're gonna add this to secure it so it doesn't pop open. I got this. You don't have to have a jewelry tray. I got this at the Dollar Tree though. So for $1.25, because they upped their prices, I just think this keeps it, it's got a little, it's like a velvety feeling, so it keeps the beads pretty secure, like they're not sliding everywhere. And then tape, and I'll show you what I'm using the tape for. So those are the supplies. Like I said, I'll link everything below, and let me know if you have any questions. But let's learn how to make these flower bracelets. All right, I'm taking a piece of elastic, and I always cut it way too big because I want to have plenty of room to tie a knot. I don't know if you guys have ever like beaded a bracelet and then just left a teeny tiny bit and you're trying to tie a knot in it and then it drops and all the beads go everywhere. So I always just do a little bit extra to be safe. And instead of taping it down, I actually take a piece of tape and I just tape the end. This keeps the beads from sliding off, and then you can kind of just move it around with you wherever you go. the middle of my needle. Just like you're sewing. All right, needle, I'm gonna start with, I think I'm gonna do 4 blues. Before I start let's start the daisy. You're gonna pick up 4, we're doing a 7 petal. So 4 of whatever color you want your flower to be. I've got my 4, and then you're gonna pick up whatever color you want your middle to be. Just dumped out my petals. So you can do this without the needle, remember. I've got the 4. Okay, we're sliding them down. And then you're gonna go back through the very first petal. Pull it tight. Okay, that's what it looks like. Now you're gonna pick up the next 3 petals. So if you're doing 5 petals, you do 3 on one side, 2 on the other side. If you're doing 6 petals, you do 3 and 3. So I've got my 3 petals. I'm going to push it down all the way. And then you're going to find the bead that is right next to the yellow bead. So the last petal next to the middle. And you're going to take your needle and you're going to go back through that last petal before the yellow or before your middle. And you're going to run it up. Pull it tight. And that's how you make a daisy. All right, we're gonna run through it one more time. We're gonna pick up our spacers. If you're using spacers, I'm just gonna do 3. Then you're gonna pick up 4 of the flower color. These are your petals. And then you're gonna pick up 1 middle, whatever color you want in the middle. So if you're doing a sunflower, you're gonna want brown in the middle and your petals are yellow. There's our first part of the daisy. Push it all the way down. And then you're gonna run the elastic. This is just where the needle comes in because it's just really easy to get in there, but you can do it without the needle. With the elastic or needle, you're gonna run it through this very bottom petal piece. So you see how I have that space? So I'm just gonna hold onto the flower and pull and pinch it down. Okay, and then you're going to pick up 3 more petals. This is a 7 petaler. I've got my 3 petals. I'm gonna pull it all the way down. And then you're going to so here's my middle. And so this is my petal that's right next to my middle. My last petal before I added my middle. That's the one you're gonna go up through. And then you're gonna work it and cinch it, make it tight. The nice part about them is once you have it done, if you drop it, the flower really helps from sliding around. Cute! So this bead's a bit bigger, so it's making that petal pop out a little bit. But when it's all said and done, it's gonna look super cute. All right, now I'm just gonna speed it up so you can. I was gonna say really quickly, you will come across some seed beads that the hole is too small. That's what these guys are on this side right here. These are my rejects. They're fused together or they're smushed a little bit. So if you have a hard time getting your needle or your elastic through it, just toss it. It's not worth it trying to make it work. Okay, we'll speed it back up now. Do you see how my strand, since it's doubled over, it's matching up, which means I'm not being able to pull all the way through. You want to make sure that you're getting both, you're getting that side out. So I'm just going to move my needle down a little bit so it doesn't catch. All right, I got tired of making daisies, so I just added a bunch of blues on the end. And we're gonna seal it off. I'm gonna show you guys how I finish my bracelet since I'm not using a clasp. All right, taking the tape off. Now I have 3 beads on the end, so I'm gonna try not to make those fall off. I'm gonna tie a square knot. I love this glue, which is ironic since my name is a girl in a glue gun, but I love the E6000. So I put a blob down. I wait until the end to secure, like if I'm making a bunch of bracelets, I'll just do it all at once. So I can just put a blob down of glue and then get them all in there. So the knot is pretty good down in there, which I want it hidden in the bead. And I'm just gonna put it right there on the knot, in the knot. Some stinky stuff, so make sure that you're in a well-ventilated area for this. Pull it tight, and then I just push those beads up over it. So essentially, maybe 1 or 2 beads are gonna be glued to it, which I'm fine with. I'll snip down these. I don't try to snip them down too short because I feel like the knot will come down if it's all the way. So I snip them down and then I will try to tuck them inside the beads a little bit. Okay, just so I can show you. The knot is right here and I've ran it through these 3 beads and then I'll just snip off that end. So I'm gonna run this one through those 3 beads and then I'll snip off that end. And that's how you make it so it looks like there is no knot. All right, I'm trying out that bigger yellow bead. So I did 8 petals. I'm just gonna show you how to do 8 really quickly. I mean, I'm sure you guys got it by now you've got the hang of it, but I'm gonna pick up 4. And then the bigger bead. The bigger bead's hole is a little bit smaller, so it's a little bit harder to pull it down. We're gonna run it back through the bottom petal. Pull it tight. And then we're gonna pick up 4 more beads. So instead of 3, we're doing 4. Pulling it down, go up around the middle, and then we're gotta get closer for it to focus. We're gonna pop it through that last petal right next to the middle. So a little bit of a different look. All adorable. Okay, I have officially made I feel like every color combination of flowers. So fun. I just love how happy they are. Happy. All right, if you guys make these, make sure to tag me. I love seeing your guys' creations. If you have any questions, leave it down below. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the crafty loop. I'm always posting fun crafty projects. All right, have a good day.